This is the story of my adventures with Alice in Wonderland. Holly and her friends were beginning to get very tired of sitting on the grassy bank. The hot day made them feel very sleepy. Suddenly, a white rabbit ran close to them, and Holly heard the rabbit say to itself, oh dear, I shall be too late." The white rabbit was wearing a blue waistcoat and looking at a watch on a long golden chain. It was very strange indeed. He quickly disappeared over the hill. Holly and her friends jumped to their feet as the little girl came running towards them. "My name is Alice. Can you please help me find the white rabbit?" she said. "He must read the scroll to the Queen of Hearts this afternoon." "I'm Holly Powell, and this is Alicia Rose, Auntie Birgit, and Uncle Olaf," smiled Holly. "Of course we will help you." The rabbit ran in that direction. Off they ran over the hill. Then suddenly down they tumbled down a large rabbit hole. "Don't be afraid," laughed Alice. "We'll land safely at the bottom." Thump! They landed on a heap of dry leaves. They were not a bit hurt. There was a long tunnel and they could see the white rabbit hurrying down it. When they turned a corner, they had disappeared, and they found themselves in a long hall with doors all around. Holly tried one, but it was locked. "What shall we do now, Alice?" she asked. Alice took a little golden key from her pocket and opened the door. They stepped through the doorway. There ahead of them was a forest. In a clearing stood a large mushroom. Sitting on top of was a large blue caterpillar. His arms were folded. He stretched and asked in a sleepy voice, "Who are you?" Holly stepped forward. "I'm Holly Powell, and I live in Hillier," said Holly. "This is Alicia Rose, Auntie Birgit, Uncle Olaf, and Alice. We're looking for the white rabbit." "What do you mean by that?" said the caterpillar sternly. "Explain yourself." "There's nothing to explain," smiled Alice, stepping forward. "Can you please help us?" The caterpillar sniffed. "You are too big to travel further into Wonderland." As he disappeared down the other side of the mushroom, he called out, "One side will make you grow taller, the other side will make you grow shorter." "One side of what?" said Holly, and the caterpillar was out of sight. "He means one side of the mushroom," said Alice. "The right-hand side makes you very small, and the left-hand side makes you taller than the trees." "It's a strange-looking mushroom," said Holly. "The top looks like icing on a birthday cake." They began to nibble on the right-hand side, and Holly laughed. "It's chocolate cake." She had a clever idea. She quickly broke off a piece from the other side of the mushroom-shaped chocolate cake and slipped it into her pocket. They nibbled until they were just 9 centimeters high. As they walked into the forest, a loud purring noise made them look up. In a branch above them sat a Cheshire cat, grinning from ear to ear. "Cheshire puss," said Holly. It grinned a little wider. "Which way should we go from here to find the white rabbit?" The cat vanished. They were getting used to strange things happening. It suddenly appeared again. "Only a child born in September will find a way around the wall into the Queen of Hearts' garden," said the cat in a mysterious voice, and waved its paw towards the dark forest. This time the Cheshire cat vanished quite slowly, beginning with the end of its tail and ending with the grin, which remained some time after the rest of it had gone. "Well, I've often seen a cat without a grin," said Alice as they walked on, "but a grin without a cat, what a strange thing." They walked bravely along the path, feeling very small among the tall, dark trees. Holly was thinking very carefully about the Cheshire cat's words because her birthday was on the 5th of September. Suddenly they came to a very high wall behind a large bed of flowers. "That must be the wall around the Queen's garden," said Alice, "and look how big the flowers are." "That's because we're so small," said Holly. She walked towards an aster. This is my September birthday flower. There was an enormous bumblebee flying among the flowers. Oh, Aster, said Holly, I wish you could talk. I can talk, said the Aster, but only when a September birthday child knows that I'm her flower. What do you want to know? Holly looked up at the Aster. We must find the White Rabbit. Please tell us how to get to the other side of the wall. Well, that's easy, said the Aster. Just climb on the back of the bumblebee and he will fly you right over. The bumblebee flew down to the ground, and Holly, Alicia Rose, Auntie Birgit, Uncle Olaf, and Alice climbed onto his back. Up they flew, high into the sky and over the wall. When they landed on the other side of the garden, the 3 gardeners were painting some roses red. Have you seen the White Rabbit? Asked Holly. Gardener 2 whispered, We've been too busy to notice. If the Queen finds a white rose, we'd all have our heads cut off. Holly said quickly, We don't want that to happen. And then the Gardener 3 called out, The Queen! The gardeners threw themselves flat upon the ground. Look over there, whispered Holly. Marching down the path were 10 soldiers carrying clubs. Next came 10 attendants decorated with diamonds. After these came the royal children wearing hearts. Next came the guests, mostly kings and queens, followed by the White Rabbit. We're too late, said Alice. The White Rabbit was a prisoner. 2 soldiers walked on either side of him. Another walked in front carrying the king's crown on a crimson velvet cushion. Last of all came the King and Queen of Hearts. The procession came towards them and stopped. Who is this? Said the Queen of Hearts, looking straight at Holly. What is your name, child? My name is Holly Powell, Your Majesty, said Holly, very politely. And who are these? Said the Queen, pointing at the 3 gardeners. How should we know? Said Alice, surprised at her own courage. It has nothing to do with us. The Queen turned crimson with fury and began screaming, Off with their heads! Off with... Nonsense, said Holly bravely. She took the scroll from Alice, unrolled it, and read the words written there. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, there was a sudden fuss in the procession. The Knave of Hearts came running out of the crowd, holding a tray of tarts above his head. Guards, off with his head, screamed the Queen. The 2 soldiers who had been guarding the White Rabbit ran across the garden after the Knave of Hearts. Follow me, cried Holly, and they pushed through the procession. Holly handed the scroll to the White Rabbit. He smiled, blew 3 blasts on his trumpet, and read, The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on the summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them quite away. Well, roared the Queen, turning to look at Holly, you and your friends know something about the missing scroll. Off with their heads. As soldiers started moving towards them, Holly remembered the magic chocolate cake in her pocket. Quick, we must eat this and grow taller, she said. They each swallowed a crumb and grew larger. Looking down, they could see a tiny Queen of Hearts turning purple with rage. Off with their heads, she shouted. Nobody moved. Who cares about you, said Alice. They had grown to their full size by this time. You're nothing but a pack of cards. At this, the whole pack rose up into the air and came flying down upon them. Holly found herself lying on the grassy bank, once more brushing away some dry leaves that had flooded down upon her face. Had the most curious dream, she said to Alicia Rose, Auntie Birgit, and Uncle Olaf. Just then the long grass rustled, and a White Rabbit hurried by. He was wearing a blue waistcoat. Holly smiled at her friends. So it was a real adventure after all.